name's Coach Josh Wright. I'm the newly hired head football coach at Arnold High School. I'm a Marlin and proud to be so, and I am fired up. First off, I'd like to commend you as an audience. You've been very involved, connected listeners. It's kind of a distracting atmosphere, but you're tied in, you're connected to these people that are delivering their information. Sebo did a great job. We've known him since he played high school ball here in town, great competitor, which is part of what I'm here to talk about. The energy that Karen brought is the kind of energy we need around our kids as coaches. There's a lot of parallels between being a teacher, a coach, a preacher. Those things serve to inspire. Our business, as it is about the W. It really is. It's about the win, and you have to have a platform. People ask, well, how do you go about your business of building winning program and securing those wins? Well, coaches, first off, are a combination of all the coaches they've worked for, or their parents who coach them in some cases. But they're a combination, like you are, of a lot of people that brought you up in your businesses and the things you do for a living. We are just a combination of that. So a lot of my philosophies are based on people that I've coached for, that I've worked for. We capture the things that are good and we can the things that aren't. But I've had an opportunity to work for a lot of great coaches. That's kind of put me in a position where I'm at. And again, the bottom line is the W. One thing comes to mind, though, when you think about the win and the victories in business, and Abe Lincoln said, we're not so concerned about whether or not you've fallen and you fail. We're more concerned about whether or not you can rise up. Most recently, for the last 4 years of my life, I've done some community service down in Apalachicola, the Franklin County region. Wonderful people, wonderful place to live, tough place to make a living. I mean that in a good way. But as a football program, I can stand here and honestly say they had failed. It was a unification school that went 0-22 in their first 2 years. So obviously you have to figure out, like Abe said, when are the wins going to come? Well, in the first year, we were able to put 5 wins on the board and 6 losses. Now, they didn't build a statue of me, but they also didn't give me a going-away party either. So, but it was a good experience down there. In coaching and in business, we think of something that lasts forever. That's a ring, right? I recently got married this weekend. I mean, not this weekend, this past summer. This past summer. In Hurricane Debbie, no less. But in that wedding, in the storm, my wife was wonderful. Kept her composure in the rain. It was a great atmosphere, great place to be. But a ring means forever. Well, Pete Carroll, if you've heard of him, the Seattle Seahawks, he spent a career with different teams, but in 2000, he was fired by the New England Patriots on his bum and with no job. Him and another guy, Mr. Roth, got together and developed an idea and a strategy that was based on the idea of competition. With that being said, he took that in a couple different platforms. One is that they both created what's called a Better LA. You can only imagine what a Better LA stands for. It means get control of the gang violence and give the youth something good to do. That's what a Better LA stands for. They've also carried that to Better Seattle. Why not just repeat it? But the thing that I've kind of bought into and we sell to our players is win forever and win the day. Now, what does that mean? It's a lot of what you talked about is that you are a combination of everything you do through the day, believe it or not. So as we get our kids focused and as this win forever theme goes, the symbol that symbolizes is a W, which we want, Coach and I do. We want W's, but it's a W inside of a circle. So there you have it, the win forever. Really a great thing. I think it would behoove you to go online and just Google that and just look at the ideas because it casts a great view on how it can help you as a teacher, a coach, an athlete, a parent. And there are many ways that you could buy into it even as a business owner and try to find a way to get the most out of your day. Now, how do we build that and what is that mighty W at the top and how do we get there? Well, it's a combination, like a lot of people have studied other coaches in the past. John Wooden and his pyramid success had a lot of points to it. 12 points, a very dynamic pyramid. This one's a little bit simpler. But at the top, at the end of the day, it is all about the performance. And what we find is we have to have a baseline before we get to that victory. At the bottom of that baseline, it starts with a belief that you're going to do the best that you can do better than it's ever been done. Now, that could serve as a password. I don't know where Mike's at, but if you put each initial, you'd have a great password. But you're going to do the job the very best and then do it as best it's ever been done. And again, how does that relate to our sport of football? Well, it relates to it, and it relates to basketball and volleyball, in that when you do that, you're stacking wins on top of wins. It relates to football in the weight room, in the behavior in the school, in actual school citizenship, and it also relates to the bottom line. Did I get the most out of my school studies? We are just a platform. And he is living proof sitting here. He's a testimony of what it is to be committed to achieve as a student athlete. And that's why he's here with me to talk. But as we push our athletes, we want them to win that. What we talk about, we stack win on win on win, and it leads to what we ultimately want. We can't buy into a whole lot of poor character. When you buy in a sport, in a team sport, you buy into bad character, and if you're hiring, you're going to hire a winner. You have to hire winners. You have to work with winners. You want to shake hands at the end of the day and do business with winners. So I say that to say that it is important for us to put faith in a lot of the right people. And we've done that with our administration. We're just echoing the entire mood of Arnold High School when I'm speaking here tonight. But as we go, there's been some instances that come up. We're in the business of working with youth. We're in the business of taking poor character and not tossing it out, not tossing the whole individual out, but try to change that character. It's kind of why we're here. We all have a calling, we have a purpose, and that's one of them. So what we do, and I know Coach has done it firsthand, and everybody in our programs there do it, but we really try to give them those few opportunities, then we have to separate from them. Because really, just like somebody that works for you, again, they represent what you're doing. And right now, I've been on the job for 10 days. It's been 10 great days. But there are a few right now that may be separated, and they're separating themselves. We don't fire players. They really fire themselves. That's the process of elimination. And then hopefully, like we tell them every day when we work out, we're giving our community something to be very proud of. Their work pace, if you could walk there, you would be amazed. And when he runs he's also the head weightlifting coach on top of the head basketball coach. But the work pace will just blow your mind away. So what does that mean? That means that you as a community have something to be very proud of, and that you will have a product that can sometime walk out of these halls at Arnold and represent your companies and be part of this community and try to be pillars of this town. Because they know what's expected. They know we're in it for the ultimate victories, but they are following the pathway that can get us there. And again, level of performance is what I'm here to speak about primarily, and trying to make it as positive as it can be. One of the things that stands out there, and again, I told you about, you want to do the job the best you can, but nobody would be here today, really, if you weren't prepared to compete. I mean, compete against your best friend in a foot race, compete for that contract, compete for that web design. I mean, it's about, are you willing? Now, that's where we falter a little bit right now in our youth. Our youth are a little afraid to jump in the race if they think they're going to lose. Where I was coaching was a little afraid to get in the game and be part of it unless they thought they could win the game. But we changed that culture and that mindset, and now, we look everybody in the eye, and when I left there, we weren't winning all the games, but we're at least competing. We have to build an attitude and an atmosphere that competes, and here's why. Here's the reason why you want to, because when you compete and when you practice at a level that's competitive, then you build those two things that you have to get to that victory. One is the trust between the coaches, the players, the bosses, that trust. And the other is confidence. Confidence comes from hard work and practice. The bottom line of this top of this pyramid is that, like in a lot of things, sometimes you go to a deal knowing you've won the job. Sometimes you go to a deal and you know, I'm going to win the game before I get out there. That is what you ultimately want for young people. That's what you ultimately want with business, is to already have a feeling, not cocky. I know that's an overused term, but confidence that I know I can do this, and I'm already expecting it. And that's what we talk to our kids about. We're very blunt about the problems that you can have in this atmosphere of, things that you already know. I don't even have to mention them, but we're very blunt about them, and we're very direct, and we want to be teammates with our parents because they too can be champions of a win forever. Given those core values, passing down those traits that we want our kids to by wait till you're 21 till you're drinking, wait till, it's hard. It's hard. We have to be a partnership. We're going to be a partnership. That's the things we're ready to talk about as leaders of our community and leaders of our school. Now, finally, you can go ahead and soft ring me if you like. Baby. Then he gets a baby one too, right? Okay. I'll be brief. Again, promotion within your system. Nobody that I know would be willing to run a company if they weren't willing to hire somebody that could take their place someday. Because you want to empower, obviously that's a very well-used word, an overused word maybe, but you really want to bring people up to be as good or better than you. It's just like that in the coaching ranks. You know, Bobby Britton, as a leader, as a coach, had the opportunity to play for me as a high school coach. He was a guy that really took it on, headstrong, face first, toe to the line competitor. That competition and his love of being around coaches really took him down the path to become what he is today. And again, that self-promotion, and that's where we find our successes. And I know some of you played football, and you think about that coach, but you can find your successes as a coach when you put kids in college, you open some doors, and then ultimately the greatest compliment is when you put one in, they went and got their degree, and then they come out to be a coach and continue to give. So here, without any more talk time, he's here to visit and talk with you a little bit about the mental toughness of sports. But this is my head basketball coach, great friend, Bobby Britton.
My name is Coach Bobby Britton. I coach at a company that will not be named, but the only great high school on the beach. All right. Also, I am a history teacher, so all of you guys have high school degrees, right? Or high school diplomas? All right, good. So you met me at one time or point in your life, hopefully. I'm not saying you passed my class, I'm just saying that you got there. But this is what I teach. As everybody see that, this is what I draw on the board, X's and O's. But that's what all people think coaches do. But actually what I do is I teach mental toughness for my kids. I teach the mentality aspect of winning today. Like Coach said, carpe diem, seize the day, being a winner. Some of the things that I like to teach mentality-wise is flexibility. You guys are businesses, you guys want to hire young individuals. They have to be flexible. They have to be able to handle different things in situations at any time. I try to tell my kids this all the time because they have different things like my girlfriend's sick, or my car won't start, or I just didn't get enough homework done in your class, I got 2-hour practice and weightlifting. They got all those excuses, but then at the same time you have to say, in order to be in your position, you have to be flexible. I also try to tell them to have responsiveness. Give them a goal. I like to use the cartoon character carrot dangling. I dangle a carrot in front of a guy. Being out here seeing you guys, it's almost like another refresher for me, because being an educator, a leader, a teacher in this community, it's like a carrot dangling out in front of me, like, oh, this successful person, or this successful person, or that person, or that person. For my athletes, it's the same thing. I am the head weightlifting coach, and one of my carrots that I like to dangle is the 1999 state champion, 295-pound bencher from Panama City, Florida, Mr. Sibo Campbell. I dangle him right out in front of my weightlifters all the time. Now, as much as I love Sibo, I just had Darius Smedley under me bench 285 the other day. So he's coming for you. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. So I don't know if that record is going to be there long. But a guy like Darius Smedley is a testament to what I do. Young kid, great academics, great family, and he's growing up in that responsiveness world to get better, to drive, to have that carrot right in front of him and go out there and get it. The next thing coaching does for mentality-wise is it makes you strong. Teaching kids to be strong. Guys, there's going to be things that's going to come your way. There's going to be things at you all the time. How are you going to handle it? You have to be strong. Everybody in this room has heard of the story of Michael Jordan, right? Everybody's heard that story of Michael Jordan. He got cut from his high school varsity basketball team, this, that, and the other, right? He had to fight knowing that he wasn't as good as the two guards on his varsity basketball team. He got cut that year back at Laney High School, went on to, he would go on to make the varsity team the next year, and then from there the story ends. Everybody knows the story, the greatest basketball player ever. The last thing is resiliency. all right, there's going to be setbacks in your life. That's what I try to teach my kids. Guess what? All you guys out here that are successful today, Coach Wright, there's going to be a setback that you're going to have to deal with. You're going to go out there, and it's not just going to be smooth sailing. You're going to have to be resilient in what you do. Night in and night out, this might not work for them. It might not work. All right? What are we going to do to be resilient? What are we going to do to be better? I'm here, like Coach Wright said, because I'm that guy. Coach Wright coached a kid back in Lynn Haven in the early 2002 through 2006. He was an undersized, underweight football player. What he was taught was to seize the day. All right? He was taught to be flexible, to be responsive, to be strong, to be resilient. And I'm here today because I'm this man's living testimony as a head basketball coach, educator, leader, community motivator, and hopefully a business entrepreneur in this town. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.